go. Yes, sir. Say less empire. I'm back with another video. I'm extremely excited for this one because I've been getting asked this since before YouTube, since before TikTok, and my Instagram comments, all my comments on all platforms. Since the moment it happened, people have been asking me why I quit college basketball. So in this video, I'm gonna tell y'all my whole hoop journey, my basketball story, and basically why I didn't go to the NBA.
Say less.
Okay, let's get started with the basics. So the basics are simple. My name, Lester Williamson, from Minnesota. What's another question I get asked a lot? I'm 6'3". Those are the three most questions I get asked all the time. And I was first introduced to the game of basketball by my older cousin, Jonesy. He was the first person to put a ball in my hand. He was the first person I seen play basketball at his summer leagues, at his fall leagues, different leagues. He was the main guy that I seen play basketball. Let's start with my youth basketball experience. I started playing basketball. I was first a part of my cousin's team in like kindergarten. He was coaching my elementary school, and they was winning every game by like 30. They was extremely good, and I was a part of the team. I got to go to all the pizza parties, all the water parks, all the award things, all of it. I even had a little jersey. Like I was the mascot basically for kindergarten, but I was around it. Same for like first grade, but I really started playing in third grade. Like third grade is when I really was like actually getting minutes. I would practice with them like early on too, but third grade was when I actually like got in the game and scored my first bucket and missed my first layup and did my first push-ups on the sideline. And it was an amazing experience. We played like a school league. So we would play the same schools like every year. And every year we would dominate them, run through every team. Like I don't think I ever lost an elementary school game ever. Like ever. I don't think I ever lost an elementary school game. I was coached by my sister, like the local community center. For summer league, she would coach me. So shout out to my sister and shout out to Jonesy from the beginning until like fifth grade. Fifth grade is when I really like I fell in love with the game of basketball. Like I really became like I love basketball. Like I started knowing about like fourth and fifth grade. Fifth grade, I started knowing more about the NBA. Like third grade, I knew about the NBA. Like Kobe and KG was my favorite player. But like fourth, fifth, sixth grade, I started playing traveling team basketball. That's what changed. I started playing traveling team basketball, and me and my boy Willie was the first two hoopers from our neighborhood to make the traveling team. So we was locked in. We was locked in on everything, and I remember we would dominate, bro. We would go. It opened my eyes to basketball, and I think that's what made me fall in love. Like it it helped me realize that basketball is just not like on your regular like neighborhood, your few, your little block radius, in your city. We would go from city to city throughout the whole Minnesota, dominating. Me and my boy Willie putting out buckets. Handle. I had a crazy handle in bruh. I made so many people fall at a young age. It was crazy. I had a crazy handle, and I played defense, and I was a solid passer. I make the right pass. And me and my boy Willie would just dominate, win ribbon first place at the first place, third place. We was nice. Seventh grade, my family just was going through a lot, and it was just like we moved to a whole new, not even the next town over. We moved to the next town over. It wasn't far at all, but we moved to the next town over, and I was like, I didn't want to move. It was just a lot, and I was like, I didn't want to be part of the basketball team. I remember the kids used to ask me, "Do you play football? Do you play basketball?" You play baseball? I used to play all three. I even play hockey, and I used to lie to them every time. Like, no, I don't play none of that. I skateboard. I used to tell them I skateboard. Like, I skateboard, bro. I would do none of that just because I didn't want to be there for real. I still play like uh outdoor basketball, like at the random course with my brother, or my brother used to play at the Boys and Girls Club, so I used to play with him and his team there. I used to practice with them, but seventh grade I did play organized basketball. So eighth grade, my sister, shout out Liza for this, she actually forced me to play basketball. Like, you either gonna play this traveling team or you gonna play uh school basketball. But I think the traveling team was too expensive for us at the time or something like that. I'd end up, but I'm like, I don't really want to play traveling team basketball anyway. I'm gonna just play rec basketball. And the rec league was kind of, it wasn't really competitive for real. So I would just play just to play, just to say I was playing basketball. But I really didn't enjoy it for real. I started taking basketball serious eighth grade summer. Eighth grade summer was when I was reintroduced by my older cousin to the guy that ran his summer league, Will Starks, that I was telling y'all about earlier. Will Starks was a trainer and ran summer league, winter league basketball in my community, an absolute legend in my community. RIP to GOAT. I began working out with him in eighth grade. Eighth grade summer, it was brutal for real. My brother was really climbing up as like a basketball player in the city, and Will was like, we got to get him to a school where he can be that guy, and he want me to be right up under him and be the next wave. So the goal working out with Will was to find us a school where we can go and have an immediate impact, not play freshman for me or for my brother to play JV at all. We end up finding a school like an hour, like 45 minutes away from the city, kind of secluded, little small school, so we could just really focus on school and basketball, school and basketball, school and basketball, and getting better and graduating. That's it. That's all the goal was to focus on throughout high school. So freshman year, I was a 5'6", 5'7", skinny, barely 100 pounds, starting point guard on varsity. Our team was solid. We was pretty mid. We was pretty mid. My brother was putting up numbers, doing his thing. I averaged like 10 my freshman year, as like a skinny 5'6" kid that was going against football players. It was mostly football players, and I was getting beat up all, bro. I was spraining my ankle so many times freshman year. It was crazy. Sophomore year, so going into that summer for sophomore year, I was still working out. I started working out more, like morning, nights, and I went through a growth spurt. I had a growth spurt that was crazy. I went from 5'6", 5'7" to like 6 foot, like 6 foot. It was crazy, and I had to learn how to control my body. Like, bruh, I remember, I remember they used to call me like baby deer legs or something, just because I was tall. Just imagine, skinny, tall kid that could. It was like Goofy. I used to run like Goofy. But I was still getting better at basketball. But I did had to adjust my handle. My handle went from like super tight to like, I got to figure out how to work this new grown body of mine. So, and then sophomore year of basketball, like school basketball season, our team got better. We added a few guys from the local area where we go to school that should have already been part of this team. We added them to the mix, and the goal was to win state, straight like that, straight like that. And we came out hot. 16, I think we won like 16, 15 in a row. Our first 15 games, we ran through everybody. We ran through everybody. We was ranked in the state, in our section, in our division or whatever, and we end up making a run to state. I started most of the games, but it was like we were so good that it was like it would fluctuate in and out. We ended up placing fourth in state, and legendary. It was the first time in our school history that they'd have been to state and everything. We did. It was a movie for real. That summer of my sophomore year, I started playing AAU basketball. I started lifting weights. That's when I was first started lifting weights. That's crazy. My sophomore going into my junior year, I started lifting weights and focusing more on my craft and getting better. 6 a.m.s, 2 a days for real, and just training for real while playing basketball. Summer leagues as well. I started dunking that summer too. Oh my goodness. I was in my prime. I was about to have a huge year until we're a week away from the season. We're a week away from the season. Last practice of the week, last drill of the practice. I'm coming down. I think it was a scrimmage. It might have been a scrimmage. I'm coming down on a fast break. I go to do a Euro step. I step off my left, pop. I tear my. No, I ain't gonna say my whole. I tear like a part of my hip flexor. It wasn't the whole thing because that would have shut me down. But I tore like a part of my hip flexor. End up missing the first 2 months of the season, bro. I was absolutely devastated, and it actually took longer for me to like recover. But the way that my team was playing, we was like up and down. So I'm like, I gotta get back so I can help us win, so we can make this run for state again for real. So I get back, I rushed back like in 2 months, but I wasn't officially like my mind wasn't there once I finally got back. Like I felt like I was healthy enough to, be back, but mentally I wasn't there. Like I wasn't dunking the ball like how I was, and I wasn't as aggressive. I was kind of passive where I was at in my game. I was kind of feeling like Derrick Rose. I was a little hesitant on certain moves and certain things, but we ended up making a run for state, back to back, winning the section. Lose it. We lost in the first round of state, but we still made a run. Solid team. But most of our players were seniors that year, so we lost a chunk of our majority of our team for real. So going into senior year, I played. I didn't play as much at AAU. I played a little bit, but I was more focused on getting back healthy and getting back to where I was and being aggressive and preparing for my senior year. But it was a lot of like weird speculation that I was going to transfer and just different stuff going on. Once the season came back around, we only had like 3 seniors, but we was a pretty mid team. It was pretty mid. It was ups and downs. We had a lot of young guys for sure. We had a lot of young guys, 3 seniors, but we was solid. I put up solid numbers. I think I averaged like 22, like 20. I don't know. I'm not sure for real. But I put up solid numbers, and I had a few different looks from junior colleges, D3 colleges, and I reached out to a few D2 um schools because I was kind of convinced that like if my brother, because my brother had a few different D1 offers and D2 offers, so I was like, if my brother could get D1, I should be able to get a D1 school or a D2 school. My sister had like a few schools like circled that we will not attend just based on what she knows, because she played basketball as well and she been through the process before. So it was few schools that I wasn't even communicating with. D3 schools I could have went to, but I wasn't really interested in going D3. Some of the D2 schools that I was communicated with wanted me to walk on, and I kind of needed the scholarship just because like the way that my financial situation it was with my family was like we can't really afford no college if we walk on, like for real, without taking like a super duper loan. So the goal was to find a scholarship, and my brother ended up finding a scholarship. Him and Trevor worked out with Will with us as well. They ended up finding a scholarship at a D2 school in Michigan, and they was both was agreed that they was gonna go and play there together. And I'm like, okay, I'm looking for a school too. The state school that I'm looking at, they 50-50. They got a few spots open, but they don't know if I'm gonna be able to get it. I'm gonna be able to get the spot. So I had a few different schools that I was like communicating with, but I'm like, if I can play with my brother, I'm not missing that opportunity. I like there's no better feeling than playing with my brother. So I tell my brother, like, could you see if like your coach, or see what your coach trying to do, if y'all got any spots open, or see if you can put a word in for me basically. and he put a word in. So when he's going to do like his official visit, basically, and see like the campus and get like, every sign his letter of intent and all that. And I was like, I'm gonna come with you. Like tell the coach I'm coming with you. Got to college. Me and my brother was just basically grinding, putting up shots, uh, working out, lifting weights, doing our thing, meeting our teammates, hooping as much as possible, just basically getting better. Once the fall like workouts and it's like open gyms started to come around, you got to see like the real talent, and then like how good our team could potentially be. We was bunch of small. I ain't gonna say small guys, but it was a lot of guys like 6'1", 6 foot. We didn't have really any height, and that was like our downfall. I think our biggest guy was probably like 6'4", 6'5". I'm not sure, but he was a football player. He was more muscle than actual skill. Going into the season, it was like a roller coaster for me, being that I'm six. I probably grew a little bit throughout the season, but I was like 6'1", 6'2", but I was skinny. I was like 150. I was like 150, and it was hard. And I'm playing against like college players. Like some of these dudes like 24, 23, 22, and I'm just like fresh out of high school, like fresh out of high school. I had the talent and all the skill, but I was just skinny and I was getting bumped, and it made sense. But I had to adjust my game a lot. I had to adjust my game a lot to fit the role that the coach had, to fit his system, basically, to fit his system and the style that he likes to play. So I just basically was like a Swiss Army knife. Whatever coach needed me to do, I made sure that I was able. I wanted to be that guy that he could call on, and I made the best of my minutes for real. Because I went from I'm some games I wouldn't play a lot, some games I did play, but I was efficient with my scoring. Like sometimes, I mean, I remember a lot of my teammates telling me like, you got to shoot the ball more. Like if you shot the ball more, you will be putting up 15, 20. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't really have that range to really go. Like I felt like I didn't really have the free will to like score the ball. Like I just played my role and did the dirty work to get my minutes for real. But I did get better throughout the whole season, and I ended up winning Defensive Player of the Year, Most Improved, and I think something else. I led something else. I'm not sure what else it was, but yeah, it was a solid year. We was a solid team. We won like 30 games. We only lost like I ain't gonna say 30. Well, we won like 25 games. We lost like 10, under 10. We lost under 10 for sure. We was a good team. We ended up losing like the second round. After that was like meeting with the coach and seeing like what areas he want me to improve on, and where does he see my game growing coming into my next year. Because I was like, it was a good year, but I feel like, I could have been more. He could have used me more, and the way he was using me, I wasn't getting like those minutes with my brother, or those minutes with Trevor, or like I was more like substitutes for those guys, and I'm like, if you could put me like right next to them, we could be dangerous next year. Like it could be something serious. But the response that I got from him was not really like the response that I expected. I thought he was like rocking with me, and he'd be like, okay, I mean, yeah, but he was kind of like, no, he has some guys coming in that he wants to run the offense through already, and I'm just like, yo, that's crazy. Like that's crazy. Like yeah, I'm like, I don't know if I'm like I'm growing and I'm getting better. My athleticism was elite. Like I went from, yeah, my athleticism was at elite point, and he was trying to bring me off the bench again for my sophomore year. So that really kind of threw that relationship out the window for real. A lot of people was thinking I was gonna come back and play another year. I wanted to come back, but I didn't want to come off the bench a year again and not really get my shot to really go and just, you know, be free and hoop. So that kind of threw me off a little bit. But I did have a few schools speak out that we played that year, that reached out to me and was like, yeah, we can, it was kind of like the same process from my senior year. Like, yeah, we want you to come, but our scholarships are already taken up, or yeah, or it was like, yeah, we want you to come, but we want you to sit out a year. Yeah, we want you to come, but could you redshirt a year for us and just take time and just build your strength? And it was like 3 or 4 of those, and I was like, bro, I really don't want to sit out a year. And then I end up once I got back home for the summer and was chilling at home, working jobs and playing summer league and training and all that. I met with former hoopers that played D2, D1, D3, and JUCO and all that, and it was basically telling me like, yeah, it's a good thing to go to take a year off. So I was like, I might as well take a year off and play for this local school. And one of my good friends, Phil, was going to be the coach, and the legendary coach, Coach Tolo, that coached with Will, was going to be the coach. So I was like, that might be a great opportunity where I can get some, free reign and really, take that next step and really, go and get an offer somewhere. The goal was for me to, red shirt a year and then play under those two. So I just trained like I spent the whole year training, like a whole year training, like every day. It was just basically like everyday training, but it was like more detailed. Instead of training with Will Stark, I was training with his son, Diami Starks, and I was training with him every day, every day, every day for like a year, and then I just kind of crashed. Boom! I just hit a wall of just like it was hard. It's so hard, like not playing basketball, and you see your homies out there hooping, or you going to their games, and you just like, bro, it was me not being focused on the big goal of taking a whole year to build my body and build myself up. I kind of got distracted with different stuff, uh, whether it be girls, whether it be school, or whether it be social life and like partying and meeting different people and all that. It was just, it got to me and I just crashed, bro. I hit a wall and I was like, yo, I don't want to do this no more. And I was like, yo, I'm like, I don't even want to go to school. Like, I just need some time just to like, I don't even know, basically like relax. But it was just like, I was just distracted for real, and that kind of threw me off and kind of what dug me into my depression. And yeah, that was tough. And I never, and then once I did recover from my depression, I never really was like, I want to go back to hooping and playing college basketball, because then I start making TikToks and YouTube happened, and now we here. Fast forward, speed up the process. Now we here, and it's like, yeah, and that's my whole journey, and I've never really regretted anything because it taught me like a lot, and I learned a lot about myself, and it awakened myself big time for real. But yeah, that is my basketball journey, to say the least. So many tons of great stories, and yeah, I still hoop here and there. I still work out. I'm more focused on getting to 190 right now, building my muscle up and get to 190 right now, than hooping. But I will get back to hooping this summer, just because y'all in these comments, bro. Y'all in these comments nonstop, like, yeah. So I will give y'all more hooping and more insight on that. And yeah, that's it for this video. Peace and love. I'm out. I see y'all on the next one.